Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name's Meoni of AceGamesTV, and today I'm here to share something special within the World of Warcraft for you. In Orgrimmar you may have encountered this NPC in the Valley of Honor, Zaztiash. This orc mentions possibly seeing you at a convention of some kind, and if that is true, to tell him a secret code that you received. The convention is of course Blizzcon, and if you went to the yearly Blizzcon conventions in Anaheim, California in person, you can enter a code you were given for attending various years of the event. These are redeemable for in-game pets, mounts, and items relative to each year. Today we look at the reward for attending 2007's BlizzCon event, the Murloc Costume. And you may be thinking by now, 2007 is a very long time ago from today, and with only a few thousand codes made for this, it is somewhat sought after and rare. Relying on still having an unused code from the event is obviously even rarer as time goes on, so finding these codes is rather difficult. However, you can find them on eBay for as little as £130, with a maximum of around 500, so we're verging on towards the Spectral Tiger sort of rarity and price of that. However, these are much rarer because the Spectral Tiger is still printed, whereas the Murloc suit obviously was only printed at the time of the event. So, rarity aside, I got one of these, and let's see if it's worth it. The suit itself features many custom animations for in-game emotes and other animation replaces, and as such, let's take a look at a few, shall we? It is worth noting that this item is an inventory item. It will take up a slot in your inventory, like most other consumable items in World of Warcraft, and has a 1 second cooldown and no global cooldown, so you can use this as soon as it is expired, and it will last for 1 hour. It's also worth noting that this is a bind on account item. Originally it was not bind on account, but recently they have allowed it to be sent to other characters on the same realm and same faction that you redeemed it on. So it is bind on account, however you do not get multiples of the item, so you will have to send this via in-game mail. So let's look at some of the more interesting parts of this suit. You may notice it says EPC on the zipper on the back of the costume. This stands for Urza Phoenix Chatteron. This is the name of the child that Blizzard helped through the Make-A-Wish Foundation. They also awarded him a quest in Mulgore you may be familiar with the dog, and he also gave him the first ever Ashes of Allah in the game, so this is also another tribute to that child as well, which is pretty cool. So as you can see, this is the /dance emote on screen, which is rather humorous, the spinning around and thrusting. There's basically an animation replacer for nearly all. I can't think of any that aren't replaced, actually. There's a replacer for every single emote. So we're going to cycle through some of these. Obviously, there's animation replacers for sitting. There's one for sleeping where the Murloc will curl into a ball, essentially, when he goes to sleep. Eating animations where the Murloc stuffs his face with one hand. Bowing animations. You name it, there is a replacer for it. So there's a lot of variety and a lot of things that I'm discovering each day that I try something new out. Obviously, one of the things you'll be thinking of when you're purchasing this is, what can I do? You know, what can I do with the suit? So the suit will be replaced if you take damage in combat, but it can also be cast in combat. So technically, if you're on a fight where you took no damage as your particular role, you could be a permanent Murloc, and just like be a healer in the background, for example. On many 5-man fights out of my healing druid, I've managed to basically take no damage, and I've stayed in Murloc Costume form for the duration of the dungeon. So that's pretty cool. So aside from the removal of a costume due to taking damage, and of course from other shape-shifting forms, obviously they don't work. It will remove the buff completely until you recast it upon yourself. There are a lot of advantages to having the suit, and places you can use it, obviously in low damage fights, for example, where you're not taking direct damage. But also there are a lot of other stacking buffs with other cosmetic items. For example, the horn item from a very cool section of archaeology will stack with this, and many other size increases, including Winterfall Firewater. So obviously you can make a very large Murloc. You can obviously mount whilst being in the Murloc form, which is something I didn't think you'd be able to do, so you can mount on both ground vehicles and flying vehicles with no problems at all. The only one that doesn't seem to have a appropriate animation or doesn't look right is the Meccano Hog, where you actually stand on the bike, which is rather humorous anyway. But as you can imagine, the Meccano Hog was released way after the suit was incorporated into the game, so there's bound to be little things where we have broken animations. Something else that we should mention is obviously that obviously there are various other cosmetic items, but also a lot of abilities class-wise are obviously very different and incorporate sometimes some unique animations you would not normally see on, say for instance, one character. So for example, if I log over to my hunter and give the hunter this, you will see that there are 2 unique death animations which you would not ordinarily see, because obviously taking damage removes it. And obviously a hunter has feigned death, which isn't death, but it will show the animation of death, which is kind of funny, and you wouldn't have known about that otherwise. Monks, for example, and what's it called, the recall ability. Damn, Zen Pilgrimage, there we go, sorry about that. Obviously you turn into a ghost Murloc whilst doing that. So there are various little things like that, little hidden things that you will discover along the way, and I've tried to discover as many as possible. I actually went on my Warlock to see if Dark Apophysis worked with the big wings, but unfortunately that's classed as a shapeshift and does not stack. But really, this suit is a massive value for money. Obviously, this is very rare. There are very few of them around. They are very sought after and very expensive, and they're only going to get more sought after and more expensive the more a purchase, because there are a limited amount. Another advantage which I must mention before I wrap this up is the availability with no level restriction as well. I must emphasize you can send this to any of your characters. Like my monk here is level like 32 or something, so there is literally no limitation on whatever level you are in the game, but I would imagine the majority of you will be putting this on your mains to look awesome in dungeons and such. So if I was you, I'd definitely pick this up if you're interested in something a little bit more unique or maybe a bit more special than a Spectral Tiger, because as I say, it is a lot rarer to see somebody with this. And if you've got a lot of money, then I guess you could get both and be frankly awesome. But that's way out of my leagues. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video and I've showcased the Murloc suit. This is one of many videos I intend to do of cosmetic items. And be sure to subscribe to both AceGamesTV today and check out my own channel at youtube.com/Clismcast, where I do guides of WoW related stuff along with other games as well. So my name has been Meoni. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you next time.